good. Let me just turn this on. Give me a few secs, let a few people in.
Hello, David.
Hey, Myra, how are you?
Fine, and you?
I'm good. How's the weather by you?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Been watching the NCAA Nationals? Good track?
I haven't
Okay.
had a chance, mate. I've been flat out busy. I didn't put the phone down until about 10 o'clock last night. It's been
Nice.
But isn't the Euro starting this weekend?
Yeah, this weekend apparently. There's this guy, a friend of mine that wanted to sign up to be a scout. His name is Kofi. He's originally from Ghana. He said he spoke to you.
Yeah, that's right. That name sounds familiar.
Yeah, so I'll be meeting him up with him next week, but I already gave him like a rundown over what he should be thinking about.
Okay, cool. Yeah, he seemed pretty keen. Okay, mate. What I've done is it's recording. So if you wanna get started, I've been trying to do these calls at like different times and different days to just get different people involved, because obviously some people or some parts of the world get neglected a little bit.
Yeah.
So the idea of recording it is then it's available for everybody. So so let me. I think I can.
You think I should put on my ASM top?
Huh?
Should I put on my ASM top, or is this?
No, I think you're good, mate. You're good. Not a biggie. I always try and put, if I have one at hand, I'll put it on. But at this time in the morning, I'm not at the office, so I don't show beautiful face. Mate, it's all you. So today, guys, those of you who are here, and this is David Syce, that you can see, the beautiful bald man from South Africa. He's on the screen. He's going to run through a few things just to get a different perspective on a few things. But he went into detail on a sheet. Which will you be able to share that sheet? Have it?
Should I just pop it in the chat?
I'm trying to actually. You can share. There you go. I can change this so you can actually share your screen. I think. Will it allow you to do that?
Okay, sure. So you can.
Yeah. And I'll let you do your.
Okay, we done?
I'll put myself on mute and take the reins.
Okay. All right. So hey guys, basically this is a document I developed for South African sportsmen. I know that some of the scouts are going to be trying to identify talent, and you can slide into people's DMs. That's all good. But if you have a strategic plan, especially for your sport codes, and apply it in South Africa with this guidance that I'm giving you, then you should be able to build yourself quite a nice network. So these are the different sports. I hope you can all see my screen now. So these are the different sports. I'll share this document with you. But in South Africa, we can offer scholarship opportunities for kids playing soccer, rugby, swimming, tennis, golf, track and field hockey, and water polo, and rowing. Okay, I made a distinction over which scholarships are available for males or females, and you'll see here the one sport that is only offered for females and not for males is field hockey. All right, field hockey is only offered at the NCAA level, but we'll get into the different types of divisions for each code. So I wanted to start with soccer, if that's okay. And Gav, just give me a thumbs up if this is all right, what I'm doing. You following?
We can't see the screen at the moment, but I think I might have it if you want me to. Let me see if I can do it from my side. One sec.
Let me see if I can just share my screen.
You sent it to me yesterday?
I sent it to you yesterday.
I got it here. I can share it from this side if you want.
Okay, yeah, but I mean, I'm sharing my screen now. You should see this.
Okay, let me see. Yeah, we got it now. I got it now. Yeah.
Cool. So this is the document that I created. The different lists are the sport, gender, scholarship size. When I talk about scholarship size, we're talking about what scholarships can go to a full ride level or best case scenarios, right? And then metric required is the type of evidence that you need to provide to prove your level for your sport. In terms of document guideline, sometimes we have a specific table to explain to you what sort of times or sport performance equals what sort of size of scholarship. But most of the sports like team sports will be using video. But in terms of a document guideline, you could use previous clients that have been placed. So using the ASM scholarships /athletes website where we keep all our athletes. And if you go through the committed athletes, it will show you what school are they committed to. And one of the sales guys can give you an accurate description of the size of scholarship that that kid got. All right. In terms of max scholarship size for soccer, what we have noticed from the kids that we have actually placed, obviously the highest level you do get is national team selections, but we can go as low as the SAB regional league in South Africa. That's called the Castle League. So for example, we have had success with kids playing in Castle League soccer, which is sort of our 4th division of senior soccer. And kids who have been playing there have shown to get actual big scholarships in America at various fields. The bare entry requirement that I have over here is what is the worst case scenario of dealing with a kid? What is the bare minimum that we will accept for that kid to actually get a scholarship in the States? And soccer in South Africa, the club soccer level is normally a bit higher than the school level. So if we're dealing with kids that play school first team soccer, they're normally going to need a budget that will be able to contribute to their studies. And the bare academic requirement would be a matric certificate. Okay, that's just basically because of the junior college issue. When we get to the comments section of this table, what you'll find is in general, I've put here that highest scholarship percentage for females. This isn't 100% accurate in the sense of females will get bigger scholarships than males. What you would find is there are more scholarships available for females, or more places available for females to get scholarships than males. This is due to the ruling system in college recruitment. The main thing for South Africans that we just have to discuss here is the sport of rugby. Okay. Rugby is a big sport in South Africa. It is a growing sport in America. Gavin can be testament to this. I think it's like #1 growing sport for high schools. However, the mentality of South African rugby players is that it's the biggest sport over here. So in general, kids who get scholarships at the universities in South Africa, they might not be able to compete with the USA full ride scholarships, but in terms of USA rugby opportunities, it is a bit cheaper to study in South Africa. What we have found is that the general cost of contribution from the family for rugby, regardless of their rugby playing ability, there's a ceiling on the amount of scholarship they can offer. And on this table here, they're talking about roughly a cost of around $12,000 to $15,000 for your first year of the scholarship. Rugby players will require video, and you can use previous clients that was placed as a guideline. And rugby in South Africa, the school level is really top, right? So if we are getting kids from first team SA School League and they have got some decent math, they are looking at getting, with a past SAT obviously, they're looking at getting quite a big scholarship at prestigious schools. They would still have to contribute some.
David, can I chirp in on a couple of things there, just to sort of clarify a few things, because I know that we've got a couple of scouts new. So when David's talking about pure math, specifically in South Africa, there's two math subjects that you can take. One disqualifies you from university, basically, and that's math literacy. So in each country, guys, for those of you that aren't familiar, in each country, everybody has a different education system. So there's always slight variations. One of them that I always ask about when I'm talking with the South African kids is the pure math and math literacy. And that comes down to basically, and correct me if I'm wrong, David, basically at some point during a kid's high school career, they may show a little bit of weakness in pure math, and the teachers will change them to math literacy. And that unfortunately will disqualify them. That's about accurate, right, David?
Yeah, but also what you'd find in the South African sports system with rugby is that a lot of the kids at high schools, at South African top rugby schools, which produce the professionals, right? Some of them have been kind of cheated, like with their school marks, and the school kind of pushes them through. So instead of doing pure math at high school, they are given this option as it's called math literacy, which is a dumbed down version of maths, not really true mathematics. But you would find kids who are getting, let's say, 50% for mathematics, take math literacy, and they end up getting 70%. This doesn't really have implications on them when they apply for college or university, just depending on what they want to study. So if they want to get their general academics up high, they end up taking the lower form of math. That's why we try and get them before grade 10, because that decision is made in grade 9, end of grade 9. And then when you start grade 10 in South Africa, you have to either do pure maths or maths literacy. So if we engage with as many schools as possible and give the kids the setup, like saying to them, look, you can do maths literacy to get the 70%, but it effectively writes out quite a few schools. Even if you were to get, let's say, 60% for maths, pure maths, you're looking at a better opportunity for university. Does that explain it?
That makes sense, yeah. And just so you guys at home know, so in your country, wherever you are in the world, it's very valuable to you to understand your own school system and what qualifies to go to university in the USA. And there can be comparisons made. There are websites where you can go in and really compare the education system with one country and another. So that's something worth doing, so that you have a good grasp. Now, obviously, as a scout, you're bringing the talent to us, identifying that talent, and then we do most of that work. But if it's something that you're really getting into and you're doing this on a regular basis, and you're not just sort of an hour or two every week, you're doing this on a daily basis, it's worth probably investing 30 minutes, an hour, figuring out exactly what qualifies a kid from your country to the USA university system. It'll mean you'll be able to filter out a lot of people that won't be potential clients in your initial conversations. One other thing I wanted to mention in here while you're on rugby, because that's my thing, right, is this last week I did get a girl that actually got offered a full ride scholarship for rugby.
Yeah, I know about that.
Which is a first, I think, for us. Rugby is one of those sports where you always have to come in with a bit of a budget. But I did get a girl, Michaela Hall. She's from Tanzania, and she was actually born in the USA, but she lives in Tanzania. And she got a $56,000 per year offer to, I think it was Long Island University. So that was good news. So that we are chipping away. Me and David have worked together probably 6 years now, and rugby's always been one of those topics that it keeps growing, and the numbers. The scholarships keep getting slightly bigger. So, and then there was even a community college that offered somebody as low as $7,000. So they do exist. We just can't promise them, because if that person doesn't particularly qualify, then we don't want to promise the world and not deliver. So that's all good news. All right, mate, I'll let you continue. Thank you.
Yeah. So when we get to certain sports like swimming, tennis, golf, and track and field, you can actually do this sort of scouting without actually meeting the kid or even looking at a video about them, because of the metrics that we require for them. So swimming, we're going to use electronic times, as we got here. The electronic times would normally be taking place at their state level or in a big competition level under their national federation, right? And that's normally the type of level of kid you would want to do. So you can find this information on the webpage if you follow all their competitions locally. And in your town, you should be able to find some kids who would qualify with the times. When we talk about the times, Gav, I'm sure it's on our training portal, the list of times that qualify for swim and track and field, right? Okay, I'm sure it is. So we'll give you the spreadsheets afterwards, which can show you what sort of time for, let's say, breaststroke equals what sort of size of scholarship. Problem you might find is that your pool is a 50-meter pool, and in USA, they are only using 25-yard pools. There is a conversion tool that you can use, which if you get a kid who's swimming in the normal Olympic size pools, you can use a calculator web page. I think it's Seiko. They've got their own web page to convert the kids' time into the 25-yard pool, so that you'd sort of know where they fit in terms of scholarship.
Yeah, David, I use Swim Swam for that one. It's pretty well. So I think that was Seiko, maybe another one I didn't know about. That's great.
But Gav, do we have the table of the different times which equal what sort of size scholarship all the way on to walk-on level, right?
I can find that, and I'll screenshot it and put it on the chat. Thank you. Yeah, I'll do that.
Cool. And then obviously, all the sports you're always looking for as highest level as possible, a national team selection. It's just the heads up, guys. What I experienced, because I've dealt with quite a few kids who are national team members in various codes. You got to remember, if you don't have some sort of connection to the kid or some sort of referral system, it's going to be very hard for you to get some sort of interaction with them straight up from sliding into their DMs, you know. You got to put yourself in their case. If you're a national level swimmer or golfer or tennis player or soccer player, you're a bit arrogant already. So would you respond to someone saying, just a random person on Instagram saying, hey, would you like to go to the States? What I find is better is if you share some of our success stories, and let's say you're dealing with a track kid and you share a story of Matswangani, Sean Patu, and say like, would you be interested in something like that? That's at least a bit easier because then they can relate to them. So if you spend some time just looking at the highest level, I always find you want to be in between the highest level and the lowest level. So most of these individual sports, you will look at provincial or state players who make their state teams, or at least just get into those trial games. And then in between that group to the national team selection. So you're looking at a kid who's probably got some talent at sport, but it's quite a bigger range of kids than looking at the top 5 in the world for this sport, right? Tennis, if you get into your tennis, you can also identify kids without even watching them play tennis. They use the system called a universal tennis ranking, which is called a UTR. And for males, we are looking for males who are playing at a level of 12 plus for a full scholarship at top level. Remember, if you're running into kids who are doing this sort of thing in the max scholarship size equation, these are going to be kids who can choose what bloody school they want to go to, right? So that would be a good indicator to tell someone, if you're dealing with a grade 10 kid, this is the aspirations you should aspire to, and that's why you should work with us. And if you're dealing with someone as low as a UTR ranking of 9, we can still get you a scholarship, right? So it's a big group of people that we are talking about, but you need to make sure that they have the right metrics. Like tennis, they need to be playing in the right tournaments to have the UTR, so that we can actually do something with them. So we're not saying you need to be in a certain city. You can be in Timbuktu. We can get you into America, but you need to play in the right UTR ranked tournaments in Timbuktu. Okay.
Can I interject? Just one quick thing. So obviously you can see a trend here, guys, right? David's approach to this is, let's look for the best kids that are going to get full rides. That's where he starts. Like when he's doing his searching, you know, the reason he's been successful over the years is because he looks for the best kids. And Sean's a good example of that. He's a sprinter that's now in the University of Houston. David found Sean in South Africa, and turns out not long after we signed him, he ended up breaking the South Africa junior sprint record. So he's the top of the top in his country. David tends to focus, he focuses in on those top quality players and athletes in whatever sport, and that way our life's a bit easier, because then we know we can get these full ride scholarships. And when you start going down the list, then obviously the potential of their scholarship sizes are a little bit smaller as you go down the rankings in UTR for tennis, or the times get slower and slower for sprinting, whatever it might be. So there's a trend here that obviously David's game plan is, let's aim for the best of the best and make sure they know who we are, or who I am in this case, as an individual scout. So I just wanted to sort of mention that and chime in. Thanks, David.
Yeah, but I wanted to make it very clear now, Gav, like use the success stories of David or what I did as your own. It's no problem, because we have placed someone, like if I'm dealing with the top level, I've explained to you, like it's a bit hard to get in here. You need some sort of track record, or you need someone to like vouch for you, right? But to get in at the lower level is actually where most of the people are. And that's where you should actually focus for, because sometimes if you can even help a kid achieve the lower level, that's a success story for him. And in reality, there's way more of those guys that are operating in the lower ranks who are still good, and dealing with a company like ours, we can still getting them to a school on let's say like an 80% scholarship is still a hell of a success story. And that for you as a scout, there are more of those kids to deal with. And if you can help just make sure they're doing the right things, which will make them eligible for scholarships, then you got a win-win. And wherever you are around the world, there's a formula to get them the scholarship for that sport. And what I found with ASM, we got some top guys here in different sports, that can really help you. If you were to do, let's say with golf, and the kid is nowhere near this tournament handicap of, let's say, as a female of 10, or a male that is 3, but he's like a male that plays at a 7 handicap. If he was to sign with us, we can show you that kids increase their performance while they have joined with us. Because we have the right people here and the coaches, we've increased kids' chances for scholarship, just like I did with Sean. I'm not going to say I made him get that SA record, but when he started working with us, he started improving even more. So we're not the coach, very clear. My strategy always is, if it's not broken, don't fix it, right? So there are good programs that you as a scout can network to. And if they are producing their kids on this sort of standard, right, you would find quite a lot of them would come out from your area and be eligible for scholarship. And if you have helped them groom themselves to be eligible for scholarships, the first person they're going to choose is you when they're ready to make that decision, So golf, what I just wanted to say, we do have multiple people working within the company from various parts of the world that can actually offer above than just getting a scholarship, how to increase your handicap or get better at golf. So golf, we are super equipped to that. In track and field in South Africa, what I've done, I've worked a lot with the South African coaches, right? So the coaches know that David is not a coach, but if one of their kids want to go to the States, they're going to pay David a lot of money, or him a lot of money. But what I do in return for that is all the track and field kids that I've gone over, I've been very clear over who coached them. So when there's another kid who is interested, I'm normally the first guy to send that kid to a coach if they live in that area. So if you were to make your network be very niche and specific, like we're not coaching, we are getting the kids placed, but we need to exist with coaches, right? And from South Africa, there's a lot of people that don't like each other and blah, blah, blah. But if you work together, it always ends up being a win-win, right? Okay, so track and field, there is literally a Bible that we've got, which explains what qualifies for a scholarship and what qualifies for a full ride or a scholarship anywhere, right? That is very good working with any kid around the world, as long as they've got some sort of existing electronic time. So this means that they would need to run without stopwatches, and it would need to be like normally when you're running with the laser electronic times, these are at official state events or national events. So sticking to that, and I shared with Gavin an actual timesheet that you could literally just work off. Let me see if I could show you an example here. So if you go into Google here, for example, you can just go to athletics SA junior nationals. So then, yeah, at the results, national results. And the cool thing is, yeah, I actually have a relationship with Athletics South Africa. So if you guys were to give me any name from Athletics South Africa, I could get you in contact with that kid directly, and you can speak to them to approach for opportunities for scholarships. So I'll just show you a quick preview. So here's the times of all the results and the heats. That's obviously the province there. So the process would be to take the timesheet, which is like the track Bible, which Gavin will share with you afterwards, and you literally run these up versus the times that's posted here. And if you're going to grade, let's say 16 and younger, you can use the times as a projection. So with a kid running into you and just dealing with you, even if they are in grade 9 and they don't sign, I think your goal should be always dealing with anyone who wants to go to be part of ASM as a client. Your goal should be, even if they don't sign up, that after they leave you, they at least got a better idea over what to do and how scholarships work in USA. And if you can keep that sort of relationship with them, you become a source of information to them. And 9 times out of 10, when they get the choice to actually do this, they're going to use you. And like Gavin explained quite a few times, yeah, this is a bit off topic, but Gavin, is it okay if I just showed them the new kid we're signing for track and field?
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead. No problem.
Okay, so this kid, for example, Liam Buck, do you remember him, Gavin? You spoke to his dad 2 years ago.
Yes, that name rings a bell. It was a while ago, but yeah.
Yeah, so Liam Buck just became the 200-meter SA under-20 champion. He's from Cape Town. We've been following him like for 2 years, right? And he's signing tonight with Chris. Yeah.
Nice, very nice, cool.
Right. So you should be our new face of track and field now moving forward. I just wanted to give you guys an example of him. So if his dad's posted some video of him already. Just yeah, so that's his dad. Quick story about this kid. His dad is his coach. He went to a classic rugby school in Cape Town, which produced like Springboks. They wanted him to become a rugby player. His dad wanted him to do track and field, moved him out of that school to a normal school that just offered normal stuff. And then his dad took him to a track in not such a good area university, and trained him there and built a gym at home. And now he won the 200 meter, he just won the 200 meter SA junior champs 2 months ago. And I really like him because he's white, okay? And we don't have a lot of white sprinters. So he's like the great white hope. And the really cool part about him is that he's got like a 92% average. I'll just post this video in the group tab. They can check it out later. But he's got a 92% average for mathematics, and he wants to do actuarial science. So let me just show you the video of him. Okay, so this was now in April, 2 months ago. This event was not open to the public. I'm sure it's the same with you guys all over the world. It's not open to the public, but the main thing is you are still able to get the result sheets. So yeah, that's Liam Buck. Remember the name. He'll be pretty good moving forward. Just finishing off now on this sport code summary. If you guys can focus on one major thing, which would be the metric required, right? You need to identify the places that will be able to produce the metric for those sports. So for soccer, it's good that you're dealing with kids that have talent, but if there's no video, there's nothing we can do. Okay, so if you invest your time in finding places which have video, or you help clubs become able to film their own video, you got a good chance of getting them scholarships. And then along with each of the other important characteristics over here. Yeah, and then that's about it. Gav, do you have any more questions?
No, that's. I just want to sort of. Let me just turn. I think I've got somebody on repeat one second. Yeah, for me, guys, this is kind of important information just to give you guys an idea. Obviously, David does this from a South African perspective. Every country is a little different. Like, maybe, Russia, for example, is not going to be super strong in rugby, but they may be very strong in track and field and soccer. So obviously everyone's got their different strengths and weaknesses. So that needs to all be adjusted based on the country you're in.
Yeah.
You maybe get very good American football players in Canada, but not so much obviously in Japan. There's a lot of variables for that. So keep that in mind, but the objective is really for you to start understanding the level of abilities in your country, so that then when you're coming and bringing these clients to the table, the expectations are set correctly. For example, I have a German American football player not too long ago, and it was in Germany, he's a superstar, right? But the standard in Germany for American football is so low that you had to set the expectation very quickly for that particular kid. He said to me, I want to play for Bama. He wants to play for Alabama, Crimson Tide, whatever the hell it is, right? 100,000 people in a stadium. And when I looked at his video, quite frankly, he couldn't catch a cold. He was playing wide receiver and he was awful. So yeah. I had to really bring that kid down to earth and say, listen, this is the reality of your situation. There's the standard. I mean, there's there's 20 kids that would be able to get into that school, before anybody in Germany. So bringing that kid down to earth is not easy, but, he is a kid that can go to a prep school for a year, get some exposure in America, and then maybe we can help him go to a junior college, right? Because if that's his passion, that's what he really wants to do. He probably needs to have a budget, and his situation is very different from, I don't know, a kid that's in South Florida that just churns out NFL players every year. Like, they're just completely different animals for that particular sport. So it's horses for courses, I guess. But I think this was very, very helpful to get an idea. I've recorded this. It looks like it's still recording, so we're good. So
yeah, just one more thing, Gav.
Yeah, go for it.
Like there are other sports that I haven't included on this table. But if you look at the name of this table, it's called the SA Sport Code Summary. So like we do play a bit of basketball here, we do play a bit of baseball and softball. I've actually literally placed a baseball kid on full scholarship now and a basketball kid on full scholarship. But that is anomalies, because South African baseball, basketball, and softball compared to the USA, it's chalk and cheese, man. You know what I mean? So like you have to, like, that's why I didn't even put it on this table, because there's not going to be many of them. This table is like for the South Africans, the South African sports that you have. And if you, the one thing I did with team sports, like I know a bit about football, actually quite a bit. So it was easy for me to translate watching American soccer, college soccer, and then being able to translate it to a South African level that I can see is on the same footing. you know.
Mhm.
So those people in the other countries might not be your fourth division. It could even be your fifth or your sixth, you know. Like if you were to go to a big, like let's say France and those places where football's strong. But this table doesn't include baseball, softball, and basketball, because the point is we've got to produce better than what America has.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, mate, that's all. That was all super good information. Thanks very much. I appreciate it. I will let you get back to your day. And again, we've recorded this, so I'm going to upload it to the group chat for those that couldn't make it today. So guys, I'll give you, I've got like literally 2 minutes left on the timer. Does anybody have any specific questions for David? Anything that that they'd like to ask? Feel free to jump in right now. This is your opportunity if you'd like to ask them any questions. No questions, going once, going twice. No, okay, no Brigitte. If you think of something when we hang up, feel free to message on the group chat. I'm going to try and add David in. David, the group chat is actually completely full. WhatsApp won't allow me to add any more, so I need to start shifting people around, maybe to make a third group chat, which is that's a good thing. I guess.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Gavin, like one thing, if you can give my number to any of the guys who are looking to set up networks, you know, in South Africa, and then ask them to contact me, because if they need me to contact maybe a head of a soccer club for them. Because I think what we should rather do is, instead of going after one kid, we should look at feeder systems. You know, places that are producing quite a few kids and deal with them directly.
Dave, could you say that again for me? We couldn't hear you. I think your mic was covered or something. Can you repeat that for me real quick?
Yeah, I was saying you can share my number with any South African scouts, and you can let them know that I would like them to try and set up networks. Like, let's try and target clubs or schools or those sort of things that produce the level of kid that we're looking at. And if they need me as director of Africa to call the school, I'll do it for them. Because let's focus more on bigger groups that are producing than the ones with twos, you know?
Got you. Perfect. Will do, mate. All right. Thank you very much, David. Thank you guys for attending, and I'll speak to you. Nice. A fabulous weekend. Okay. Cheers.
Yes, same to you. Enjoy.
Bye-bye. Thank you.